All right, Heather, tell me, what is the best way to be tracking my food? Is it pre-tracking before I eat? Is it tracking as I go? Or is it tracking later in the day after the fact based on what I can recall? So this is a great question, and I'm going to kind of walk you through what I see being successful for many people who are just getting used to journaling food. When we talk about journaling food, by the way, this can be done in various ways. Excuse me. It can be done with a food tracking app like a MyFitnessPal, Lose It, something like that. Or it could just be strictly a paper pencil journal because you want to learn about your eating behaviors and patterns. This information is extremely valuable, even if you don't want to count calories, if you don't necessarily want to know about protein grams or fat. Just being mindful and aware of your eating is a game changer. So tracking or journaling, whatever you want to call it, to me, it's just becoming mindful. It's just like with my financial budget. By writing down everything I spend and having things tallied up, I'm aware of where my money goes by the end of the month, right? It's the same concept. So no matter what methodology we're using here, what we want to think about is when you're first getting started, this is a brand new habit, right? Like thinking back to if you read the book Atomic Habits or anything else, I would baby step your way into tracking as you go. So for example, you may want to just make a goal of when I complete breakfast, I journal breakfast. You stay with that for a week or two until it becomes rock solid. You feel like this is easy, I'm getting it down, I'm either writing it in my paper pencil journal, I'm opening the app, whatever. That's good. Then you want to add in lunch. Then you want to add in dinner. And then you want to also add in snacks at some point. So if you're every day at 3 o'clock having a snack, right, you would definitely want to journal that in as well. This process might take you a couple months just to get the act of tracking and journaling down. Now, some people stay there for a long, long time. It's what I like to call reactive tracking, right? You eat, you journal. You eat, you journal. There's no real pre-thought necessarily to what you're eating or even necessarily trying to figure out, am I going to hit my calorie goal? It's just I eat, I journal, I eat, I journal. Now, when that becomes second nature, feels comfortable, what you would want to think about maybe doing if, like, say you notice, okay, every week I'm averaging 2,200 calories. My weight is staying stable. Great. I'm obviously eating at about my maintenance level and I'm journaling it and this is all good stuff. But now I really do want to hit something like 1,900 calories so I can start moving my weight in the downward direction. So what I would encourage you to do at that point is doing more of a pre-tracking. So you go in your kitchen 8 o'clock in the morning, you assess what food you have on hand. This is what I think I'm going to eat for breakfast. This is what I think I'm going to eat for lunch. I look to see what we have for dinner. And if nothing good is in there for dinner, or I look at my schedule and I go, there's no way I'm cooking this tonight, I know I'm going to eat out, you would want to predetermine where you're going to eat out and predetermine the meal you're going to have. And I would take it one step further. If you can, go on an app or whatever and pre-order it, because the less food decisions you have to make later in the day, the better you're probably going to do. So in the morning, you're making this assessment, you're putting everything in your app at breakfast, and then what you would do is at the end of the day, go back and alter anything that was different, but you would be shooting to get a certain calorie goal, right? 1,900. So as you're putting in breakfast, lunch, dinner, and your snacks, if you see you're topping out at 2,200, what you might say is, okay, I had planned to put a full slice of cheese in my sandwich or my egg omelet or whatever, but maybe I could get by with a half a slice of cheese. So that saves me 50 calories there. And then I look at my lunch options and maybe I'm planning on doing something that involves a higher calorie bread. Maybe I could switch it to a low carb wrap and I save another 100 calories there. And what you do is you start to evaluate each meal and look for a little shift that you could do to drop you a couple hundred calories to get you in that realm. But this is once the act of tracking is already pretty consistent. You know what you're doing. You feel comfortable with it. And then as you pre-track, you try to get as much as you can on the front end. But then in the evening, after everything is done, if you know something occurred during the day or altered from your original plan, you just go back and tweak it. But this is typically, for me personally, how I tend to do best with trying to hit a calorie target. I pre-track the day, whether it's the night before or the morning of. I assess the food I have on hand, honestly, because let's be honest, you could have made a meal plan up 7 days ago, and let's just say whatever you planned for dinner that day had rotted in the refrigerator, or it went bad, or it got used for a different meal. You have to live with what you actually have on hand. So making that assessment first thing in the morning is actually a much better game plan. Plus, if you're making the decision to order in for dinner, you make a much better educated decision than to wait till 6 o'clock at night to make that decision and ordering impulsively. So I hope this helps. And just as a reminder, when I talk about tracking and journaling and all that, it doesn't even have to be with calories as your focus. If you were doing paper pencil journaling and you noticed your weight was staying stable and you don't want to track calories, what you do, exact same thing. You pre-lay out your food, knowing that whatever you've been eating is maintaining your weight. You would go through each meal and say, I use a full slice of cheese in my egg omelet. Could I get by with half? What you're looking at is your food and how can I start to take a little bit of these calorie dense things out to make it like to where I can save 200-300 calories. So I hope that helps. You guys have a great day, and I'll talk to you soon.